What is up, guys, and welcome back to our Boston Bruins franchise mode series. We are here in the preseason, and I've made a couple of moves between videos just to save a little time at the start of this one. I signed a couple of fourth line guys, and I set our lines. We'll just go to our lines, and I'll show you guys what I've done and some of the decisions I've made there. And the two guys that I signed to fill out our fourth line are Radel Fazlayev, one or the other. This guy put up a shit ton of points in the AHL last season. 72 points in 76 games. And the thing about him is he's 84 defensive awareness, got 3-star there. He's a great skater, 4.5 stars. 85 offensive awareness, 4.5 star shot. So he might be able to put up a few points from the fourth line, but also he's not too bad defensively. So hopefully he can help our fourth line out there. And then JFK, obviously. And the other guy I signed is Jordan Nolan. Now he's more of the fourth line guy. 5-star physical, 4-star skating, 3.5 shot. I mean, low 80s offense, but his defense is low to mid 80s as well. With the 5-star physical, he's going to take a lot of penalties, but he's going to be a super physical presence there on the fourth line. I mean, compared to the other guys we had in the last video, like Danton Heinen being up there, he's not terrible, but Jordan Nolan's going to be... I mean, I feel like Danton Heinen's a better player to play in the AHL, and same thing with Rupe Hines. I mean, he's great offensively, but hardly anything in his attributes point me to like a fourth line guy, and he's not good enough to play on our third line just yet. So here are our forward lines. We're going with I mean, the big thing here, I'm putting Patrice Bergeron down on the third line, mainly because he's more of a defensive guy. I mean, you guys know about Bergeron. He won his 4th Selke last night. My God, they're gonna rename it the Patrice Bergeron Award eventually. And then Winberg, we're grooming him a little bit to try to be our long-term second-line center. So we have him there. And then Getzlaff as our first-line center. The wingers, Nicky and Pasternak, Marchand and Hosang, and then Fiala and DeBrusk. Fiala's going to get a lot of special teams time. Second-line role on the third line. Same thing with Bergeron. So they're getting their time elsewhere, but there's DeBrusk as well. Alright, and then on defense, I decided to leave Rasmus Dahlin on the NHL squad, and I sent Timothy Liljegren back down to the AHL for one more season. If both of those guys end up growing this season, I can trade away somebody else from this bottom 4 to get Liljegren and Dahlin playing together on the NHL squad. I decided to go with Hamilton and Honka on the top line. I mean, I didn't want either of these guys playing on the second pairing. I mean, despite their skills, I mean they're both listed as top 4 defensemen, but I mean they're probably two of our best defensemen in terms of their defensive categories outside of Brodin. So they should be fine on the top pairing together. But if they're pretty poor, like minus players, I can just switch out one of them with Brodin on the second pairing, and it shouldn't be too big of a problem there. So now I'm gonna breeze through our special teams units. If you guys want to take a look at them further, you can pause the video or do whatever. I don't want to spend too much time going through these. I didn't change the 4-on-4 anyway. I just changed the 3-on-3. So that is it for our NHL squad. Goaltending, of course, Tuukka Rask. Down to an 88 overall. He is nearing the end of his career, but we're going to try to contend with him for one more year. Adam Werner is the backup. Don't expect too many quality starts out of Werner, but it's whatever. Here's our AHL squad. Just going to show you the offense and the defense. Liljegren there, the biggest prospect in the AHL. All right, let's get into the season. So once again, I want to compete with this team. I want to compete, and I want to try to win right now still. Even though it's year 6, and I've been saying for the past few seasons that if we start performing poorly, I can like tear it down and start over, but I still haven't got to that point. I mean, I feel like we're doing well each and every season, but I don't know. It's getting near the end of the road to where if we don't actually start winning and getting to the cups, then we're gonna have to tear it down just due to all the salary we have tied up in older players right now. We're gonna need to do something in that respect, and we're looking pretty poor in terms of long-time centers and centers of the future, because Getzlaff and Bergeron are on their last legs, and they are 2 of our top 3 centers. So we need to do something in that respect. we need to do something in terms of goaltending, and we addressed that pretty damn well in the last draft, getting a medium elite and a medium starter goaltending prospects from the draft. So, I mean, those guys are still several years away, though, so I don't know. I mean, if Rask retires, if Bergeron retires, if Getzlaf retires at the end of this season, we're pretty much screwed for next season. Like, regardless of what we do, we're not going to be that great of a team. But, I mean, we're just at such a crossroads right now. Like, I've been saying it this entire series. Like, if we win this season, then, I'll try to win next season. And if we're bad this season, I'll rebuild. We haven't been bad yet. The first season was the only season we missed the playoffs, and we were still pretty close, I think. We weren't terrible. It's not like we were the worst team in the league. But then every year since then, we've made the playoffs, and we've won playoff series. Maybe not every year, but we've been competitive in playoff series. We've won playoff series. We've gone to the conference finals. I mean, it's not like we've been terrible, but I just feel like we're in this like sort of like a tweener zone to where we're in between competing for cups and tanking for good draft picks. And I'm just scared that we're stuck. I'm scared that we're stuck there, and it's gonna take movement one way or the other to get something to happen. But I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how the future of this series is gonna turn out. So, if you guys want to know, you just gotta tune in and watch it, because I have no idea what sort of direction we're headed in. Hopefully, we're headed to a good playoff run this season at least. But I mean, I just don't know. Like, I'm somewhat disappointed in how we've performed in the playoffs. But at the same time, like, we've been in the playoffs and we've been competitive, so it's. I'm rambling, and I don't know what I'm rambling on about anymore, really. I don't know. So the NHL awards were last night, as well as the expansion draft, and the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, probably not how I would have handled it if I was the GM. I mean, of course, I don't know what happened and the conversations that were going on and the offers that were made, but I mean, if I was the GM, I would have picked like all the starting goaltenders out there, like Mrazek, Fleury, Korpisalo from the Blue Jackets. Just picked a bunch of goalies, like 5 or 6 starting caliber goaltenders, and then just trade them to teams that need goaltending and that need help in the net, competitive teams, and get top end picks out of it. But at the same time, like, maybe if you're holding 5 or 6 starting goaltenders, then you kind of lose some of your leverage, because I mean, the teams you're trading with are just going to be like, well, you're not going to play all those goaltenders anyway, so why should we pay top dollar for them? Like, you kind of give some leverage away there, but I don't know. I mean, thinking from an NHL 17 perspective, I would just draft all the starting goaltenders and then trade them away for picks. But we are here a month and a half in. We are tied for the division lead with the Detroit Red Wings. 1 point ahead of the Sabres, and the Leafs are in 4th. Only 4 points behind us, but they are not in a playoff spot, so it's a pretty tight race so far in the Eastern Conference. And Kevin Fiala is leading our team in points. That is very interesting. Very interesting. So, Fiala and Nicky are 20 plus. Pastrnak, Bergeron, Hosang, and Marchand are 15 plus. Good to see Hamilton and Honka both at 14. Getzlaf, Winberg, and DeBrusk are all double digits. Jordan Nolan is taking a shit ton of penalties. I looked at his stats to see how many penalties he took, like last season, and he's just destroying that pace so far. So the last year he played in the NHL, he had 110 PIMs in 82 games, and so far already this season he has 47 PIMs in 23 games. So that might be hurting us a little bit, but we'll have to find out. We'll have to see what our penalty kill percentage is and see how many penalties we take compared to the rest of the league. Anything else here of note? Let's look at the plus-minus category. See how that's turning out for us. So the third line's looking to be pretty good. Fiala, Bergeron, and DeBrusk are up there. And then Nicky, Pastrnak, and Getzlaf are up there as well. So the first line's doing pretty well. The second line, though, Marchand -2, Winberg -2, Hosang +3. So might need to make a little change here or there with these two guys. We'll have to find out. And then the fourth line, Fazlayev -2, Nolan -1, and JFK is 0. That's not bad. Nothing too concerning there. And then goaltending, Tuukka Rask is a 2.6 GAA, not the best. 916 save, not the best. But it's also not terrible. I mean, he could be having a much worse season. And so he's not killing us too much right there. All right, so status quo in terms of lines and the roster and everything. We'll go ahead and go forward a little bit more and head on another month. So, I mean, the Vegas Golden Knights, they made a shit ton of deals last night. There was at least 10 trades related to the expansion draft selections. Trades that are saying either don't pick this guy or pick that guy, this or that. And a lot of them were really good. A lot of them were really good, and I agreed with them. And especially in terms of, in the perspective of Vegas, like they got a haul from several teams, like the Blue Jackets. But of course, the Blue Jackets had 3 great players they needed to compensate Vegas for not selecting, in Jack Johnson, Josh Anderson, and Korpisalo. So the Vegas paid out of their ass, and they also, Columbus paid out of their ass. They gave up a first, a second, but they also gave up the contract of David Clarkson. So it was like a 2-in-1. They got to protect 3 extra players and get rid of a contract, but it cost them a first-round pick and a second-round pick in the future. But like that trade for Vegas is great. They take on extra cap space, or an extra cap hit that they need to hit the cap floor, and they get a bunch of picks. They might not get the best player in return from the Blue Jackets, but they do get that future help. It's not like Vegas is going to be competing for a playoff spot in the next few years anyways, so they should be fine in terms of like waiting and grabbing a bunch of draft picks. I can't remember exactly who they picked from the Blue Jackets, but it certainly was not a player on the level of like Korpisalo or Anderson. Another team, well, on the flip side of that, the Minnesota Wild, I think they just fucked Vegas over. All they had to give up was I think it's pronounced Tuck, Alex Tuck. All they had to give up was Tuck, and they got a pick back, but they also got to protect Scandella, Dumba, and Eric Stahl, and they give up Howla. So Howla was the expansion draft selection. So they basically traded Alex Tuck, and they got a 4th-round pick out of it, but they also, I mean, it was just a really good trade for the Wild, in my opinion. I mean, I feel like they just fleeced the Knights out of that. So I'm going to take a look here at our stats one more time. We had a really good month that month. We're 5 points up on the second-place team, 7 points up on third, 12 points up on fourth, but that 4th-place team is not in the wild card spot, I don't believe. No. So the Leafs are in second. Red Wings are in 4th, and Marchand jumped up to our leading scorer that month. So Marchand and Fiala are 30-plus point guys. Pastrnak and Nicky are almost there. Winberg, Bergeron, Hosang, Hamilton, Getzlaf, all 20-plus. DeBrusk, Honka, Fazlayev, Nolan, and JFK are all double digits. So it's good to see the 4th line scoring. If you look at their plus-minus, holy shit. Fazlayev and Nolan are +6, and JFK is +8. So I think that 4th line's playing really well right now, and I'm liking our signings so far. It's looking like those guys might reach 30 points. Fazlayev and Nolan might get up to 30 points. JFK should be close as well. And that would just be fantastic production from the 4th line. And double-digit pluses, Honka and Hamilton. Our top defensive pairing, and Pastrnak as well. So our first line of Pastrnak +10, Nicky +8, and then Getzlaf +6. Second line of shit, where's Winberg at? Second line's still not doing well apparently. Yeah, Winberg is a 1, Hosang's a 3, and then Marchand's a 0. So second line not doing the best in terms of plus minus, but they are putting up quite a few points. So I'm sort of happy with that at this point. Then the third line of Fiala +6, and then Bergeron +8, and who's the right wing? DeBrusk +6. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so pretty good production and pretty good stats from all of our forward lines, so I'm happy with that. Rasmus Dahlin +9. That's pretty good. Goaltending, what do we have here? Rask 255 GAA and a 917 save. Looks like Adam Werner's just having a great season. Only 5 games, but he's a 155 GAA, 942 save, and he had a shutout. So he's playing pretty well as the backup. I'm surprised he's not growing any. Just due to like how well he's performing. I mean, yeah, he's not getting a bunch of ice time, but he's playing like a monster in the games that he is. It's like Pasternak just had a hat trick in that most recent game. I'm gonna take a look at our progress report really quick. See if Liljegren's growing any in the AHL, and see if Dahlin's growing any in the NHL. Some progress reports here. Looks like Bergeron's having quite a few negative modifications. Dahlin's got 3 modifications, but his overall hasn't grown any. So Bergeron, Getzlaf, Marchand, and Rask are all regressing in season, which that really sucks, because if they're regressing in season, then I don't want to see how much they regress between seasons. It's not going to be pretty. And then in terms of guys in the system, looks like Liljegren hasn't grown any. He's playing nearly 25 minutes a night in AHL. How's he? Well, I was going to say, how are his stats, but I can't see those from this menu. That's dumb. You definitely should. But Trojanovic is growing. 13 modifications. Only increased by 2 overall points, but it's good to see him getting all those attribute growth whatevers. 3 goaltending prospects here, and then a couple of other guys as well. Nakamura, 73 overall. We drafted him recently. And then everyone else in the AHL, no one else is growing. So I'll go ahead and sim ahead another month. We're playing pretty well, so I'm fine with how we're doing so far. Back to Vegas and the expansion draft and the awards. Well, just Vegas. I mean, for the trades in regards to the expansion draft, it's tough to like put a value. Not just Vegas, but the whole league. It's tough to put a value on the conditional selections and the conditional trades. Like, take trying to think of a perfect example. It's like one player that they need to protect. Whatever. Okay, so let's just say it's the Wild, and let's say the Wild wanted to make a trade to protect Dumba. Like, what's sort of the asking price for Vegas? Does Vegas want to ask for like Dumba's value in return in terms of like picks and other players, or do they ask for like the value difference between Dumba and whoever Vegas is going to select? So like the combination of the guy Vegas is picking plus the compensation equals Dumba's value. It's just really tough to put a price on that, and I think some teams might have been hurt by that. Like teams that give up a shit ton to Vegas to get those trades done. Like they might have been they just might have been thinking about it differently, or thinking about it wrong, or just going about it a different way. I don't know. But the Islanders also gave up a shit ton in the expansion draft. They had to protect quite a few players. DeHaan and Brock Nelson and Ryan Strome, I believe, were like the conditional protections. But they gave up a first round pick as well. And they also gave up another pick, and Vegas took on the contract of Grabovski. So it was similar to the Blue Jackets in that the Jackets and the Islanders got rid of a contract that was really bad for them, as well as some top-end picks, and they protected some extra players. So both of those teams, I mean, they just gave up a shit ton last night. But good on Vegas. I mean, it's good that some people are complaining about like the expansion draft rules and like the protection rules and how Vegas is getting it easy. But the faster and the quicker it is for Vegas to be a competitive team, the better it is for the league and everyone involved. Like you don't want Vegas to be like the Avalanche for the next 3 seasons or something. I mean, don't get me wrong, Vegas isn't going to be good, but they're going to be relatively competitive. They're not going to be like a definite bottom of the league team. They're going to be in the bottom 10, but they're not going to be awful. So back to this series. We are in first in the division by far, so I'm really happy about how we're playing thus far. 9 points ahead of the Leafs and 16 points ahead of the Senators, and they are not in a wild card spot. 4th in the division, I should add as well. So we're playing really well, and it's good to see that. I was kind of concerned after the offseason that I didn't do enough to make this team good, but apparently I did. So yay for me. Pat me on the back. Give myself a pat on the back, I should say. So Looking at the points, Nicky's almost a point-a-game player. Pasternak and Marchand are also 40-point guys. Getzlaf, Fiala, Bergeron, Hosang, Winberg, all 30+. Honka, Hamilton, DeBrusk, Fazlayev, 20+. And Nolan and JFK and Brodin now are all double digits. So the second line still, they are the only minus players on the team. So I might need to make a move, like a line change move, not a roster move or not a trade. I might need to make some line changes regarding those guys to try to get those plus minus categories up a little bit. But on the flip side of that coin, the first line is playing fantastic. Pasternak, Nicky, and Getzlaf are all double digits, and then Honka and Hamilton as well. And then the fourth line, JFK and Fazlayev are pushing double-digit pluses, and Nolan's up there as well. And Rasmus Dahlin's also a +6. So pretty good play all around from our team. I am very happy with how we're doing so far, and I'm very happy with all of our players' stats. Let's check out Rask. He has 3 shutouts, a 2.6 GAA, and 916 saves. So he's having a pretty average season in terms of starting goaltenders, but that's kind of what we expected at this point. In his career. I mean, he played like this in 2020, it looks like, and our very first season of the simulation when we missed the playoffs. But apparently the team in front of him is a lot better than it was in 2016-17. So we're playing a lot better despite Rask having pretty average stats, like career low stats for him, I should say, thus far. But we're getting it done anyways. So I mean, it's not like I can trade Rask or anything. It's not like I would want to at this point. But yeah, good season so far. I will check out the trade. I might as well do that now. Check out the trade market. See if anyone is trying to get rid of some guys. See what is out there. I don't see myself making any moves unless there's just a fantastic option out there, like a guy that's 85+. That's asking for hardly anything. The team's asking for hardly anything. Definitely not the Ducks. I don't want Kessler at all. Just flip through these really quickly. No, thank you. Jeez. He must be upset with the Hurricanes. Second line role, but he's a 79 overall. $4 million contract. Now, if I was a team that wasn't too great, I might be trading for Victor Rask right now just to see what he turns out as, but probably not. Blake Wheeler, oh, that contract, no thank you. It was 6.6 for 5 million, or 6.6 million for 5 years. Hard no. That's a sweet name. Is it like Zach Gore? That's just a great name. That's just a great name, my God. Anyone else here? Jan Krook, another guy that is pretty upset with his situation. Anyone else here? Dick, yeah. Kent Dick. So, Kent Dick, we meet again. Charlie Coyle, another one of those players with bad morale. Malkin, holy shit, 9 million. I think his trade value is probably a little bit too much for what I'm looking for. But I mean, if we could flip Getzlaf and just a little bit for Malkin, that'd be pretty crazy. But I can't imagine that they would want Getzlaf back. Let's see, Getzlaf. Yeah, that's not going to get it done. Not even half the trade value. If I could do like Getzlaf in a third, that'd be pretty damn cool. To go from Getzlaf to Malkin. Montreal's third round pick is a pretty high value. What's the deal there? 1629, 16, 22, and 9. Scrubs. Fuck Montreal, man. Glad to see they're doing horrible and we are still competitive. So they're looking to trade Malkin. What else do they want? Let's just check that out really quick. Skaters matching block. Nobody old on this list, so not too keen in trading any of these players. Nope. Goaltenders, they want prospects. No. Not a chance. Not a chance. So if we did like, where's Getzlaf at? Getzlaf. We'll throw Getzlaf in here, and then we'll also throw in Montreal's third for this season, and doesn't meet our trade block needs particularly well. So if we did Montreal's third and our third from next season, might as well do our third from this season since we know we're already pretty good. We're gonna have a pretty low draft pick. Will that go through? Nope. We don't think it makes sense to take on the salary of Ryan Getzlaf. It's not like it matters. It's just for one season. Pricks. So we'll just try to retain all that we can on Getzlaf and see if they like that instead. Okay, that went through. So not what I was expecting when I came to the trade blocks, but we just traded for Evgeny Malkin. Evgeny Malkin, welcome to the Boston Bruins. You are now our top line center. And sure. I mean, sure. Low 90s for offensive stats. Not the best face-off guy, but that's okay because he got a 5-star shot, 4.5-star skating, 4-star physical, medium to low 80s defensive stats. And he's having a really good season so far. 47 points in 48 games. So, Malkin, you're getting one last chance to compete for a Stanley Cup. It would be your 4th, I think. So, Malkin, I mean, sure. So we just traded essentially a couple of third-round picks to upgrade from Getzlaf to Malkin. Both those guys, 35 years old. Last year, they're expensive contracts, regressing. But the third-round picks, they're not going to get us a whole lot in return. So hopefully Malkin can bring us a Stanley Cup. That'd be pretty damn cool. I need to go check and make sure that he's not getting any penalty kill time. Yeah, he's getting second line 3-man PK. We will change that to Winberg. Yeah, change it to Winberg. Yep. And then look at this really quick. Yeah, he's good there. All right, so Evgeny Malkin, welcome to the Bruins. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the... No, this video is already long enough. Already long enough. Wow. I didn't even finish looking through the trade values, I don't think. I'm going to go ahead and do that, or the trade block. Go ahead and finish that. But Malkin's a Bruin. My God. That's the last thing I expected when I started this video. I mean, if you would have given me like a list of odds, I would have bet against me trading for Evgeny Malkin. Like, I'd bet my life savings on it, probably. Evan Fitzpatrick looks like to be a pretty good long-term guy, but we don't really need that right now. Trade for Hornqvist. Hornqvist and Malkin being the top line. That'd be stupid. For the Bruins, I should say. Yes, no one else there. So Malkin, that's the big move of this episode, and we're leading the division by a long shot. Looks like we're playoff bound for sure. The Canadians are not. They are cellar bound. Looking for a top end pick for them, I guess. Malkin is immediately our leading scorer. Just take a look at the team stats really quick. 328 goals for, that's really damn good, but 2.7 goals against is not the best for like a top end playoff team. I mean, we are almost leading our division in that category, but I mean 2.7 is not great. 22.7% power play is pretty good. 82% penalty kill is pretty good as well. So Jordan Nolan and all his penalties are not really hurting us too much. Let's take a look at the entire league. We are in 4th place. The Coyotes are just destroying right now. The Coyotes, the Devils, are leading the league in points. That's just crazy. It's crazy based on what happened in 2016-17 in the real NHL season. It's surprising to see those teams up there, but our goals for per game looks to be top 5. Yeah, 3rd in the league, goals for. 2.7 goals against is, it's actually top 10. We're actually in 8th in goals against per game. So I guess it's a poor year for goaltenders all around. So 2.7 is not too bad, I guess. It'd be nice for it to be a little bit lower, but you can't really argue with that. Our power play at 22.7 is 5th. And our times that we're on the power play is middle of the road, 132. Penalty kill, we have a top 10 penalty kill. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just kidding, we're 11th. I count that right? I did not. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're 10th. All right, boys. Apparently, I skipped elementary level math and don't know how to count. But we are 10th best power play, top 5, 10th best penalty kill, top 5 power play, top 5 offense, top 10 defense. I mean, we're just really good all around. We're middle of the road in terms of time shorthanded, so that's not too bad. But that's it for this video, boys. As always, if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, comment, share. Do all those fun things to support the channel and support me and me following my dream and making these videos. Following my dreams gaming and making these videos. In the next one, we'll finish out this season and hopefully clinch the division and clinch a really good playoff spot. And yeah, in our quest for still looking for our first cup in this series. I think we have a pretty good shot this year, especially having just traded for Evgeny Malkin. I'll see you guys next time.